Hello, this is the Black Spot 1987 coming to you again with an article from the Rotten Library's Hoaxes folder. This time, the Kinderhook Plates. My pleasure to bring you the Kinderhook Plates. To the fledgling Mormon community in 1843, it was incredible news. 6 brass plates had been discovered in a mound in Kinderhook, Illinois. Ancient, marred with strange hieroglyphs, they came to the attention of Joseph Smith, who said they looked remarkably like lettering in the Book of Mormon, and that he thought he might be able to translate them. Later, these plates were revealed as forgeries under sworn affidavit decades later. The creators confessed to their hoax. Of course, this brought up a problem. How had Smith planned to translate them? Did he know they were a hoax? And most importantly, why were Mormons still following the translated scriptures? Like every religion, Mormonism has its detractors and its many supporters. It's America's fastest growing church, but a lot of this can be attributed to retroactive baptisms. But one of the core problems with this church is that from even the most non-cynical perspective, the initial founder of Mormons, Joseph Smith, was surrounded by charlatanism, fraud, and lots of pretty women. As a result, there are a number of stories and events with Smith's hand in them that raise a few eyebrows and close a few eyes. It is very interesting when you actually get to the history of Mormonism and the Mormon Church. I consider myself a Jack Mormon sometimes because the ideas and the tenets that it express are not completely alien to Southern Baptism, and they're also not completely alien to someone who believes in alternate histories and things like that. It's just hand in glove with the whole exploring the hidden history of America and the hidden history of the world, and fundamentalism to Judeo-Christian chronicles and histories and things like that, which isn't as foolish and illogical as obviously people like in the South Park episode painted as, or they painted as in almost all of their works, as almost a group of Pollyannas who are detached from an absurd history, and they're almost, because of their distance away from real civilization, became a pocket cult of do-gooders and very bland vanilla people whose history with humanity has shaped their defense of their own a peculiar politeness. It's really not that. It's very human. It's very built on ancient symbology. It's very more in line with Freemasonry and the attraction that has with, by and large, intellectual, educated, and successful, socially successful, above all, people, because it strikes a very human chord, a chord that needs to be struck in life, involving ritual, placement, belonging, social generation. The Kinderhook Plates seem to be someone. They had a lot of enemies. They did have a lot of enemies, and America kind of wants to keep a secret on how willingly the states were to prosecute and to persecute with extreme prejudice Mormon pilgrims and early members of the church. In fact, it kind of goes down as America's second genocide after the Native Americans, it would be the Mormons. If you consider African American integration issues to be their own monolithic thing, because it's based on not only race but the slavery issue. We're talking Native Americans, and Mormons are ethnic and religious persecutions, because blacks would be considered elements, cornerstones of communities, just divided by racial lines into a rigid caste system, a rigid separatist caste system. Whereas the Mormons and Native Americans were just straight up murdered, on sight in a number of communities, considered to be at war with American ideas, and had to form militaries and seek westward wilderness territories to occupy, because there was a definite hostility amongst quote-unquote white townships and white states and territories towards their very lives. Mormons are in a lot of ways the most American of religions, the most American of churches. I'd say Baptists and Mormons and Pentecostals, Calvinists. And they owe as much to the land of America as they do of the Book of Israel and the Book of Jerusalem that inspired them, because that tells them their lineage and their genealogies. But they have as much to do with the land of America, which is the fertile promised lands, Zion. And that is very interesting to think of. A lot of people just consider Zion to be a foreign land. If it's replaced into America, it makes one very spiritually attuned to the world, in much the same way that people from the Holy Land are considered very spiritually attuned from the world. And this is just considered a holy land. And that's my 2 cents. Hello, this is the Black Spot 1987 coming to you again.